We're on now. Go.
How you doing, guys? Welcome into Shenk and Spence. Tonight is a Tuesday night out here outside of Philadelphia. We could say that here. Giants fans living in Philadelphia, just waiting for football to get back, Shenko. And you know what I'm really looking forward to in the summer months to get me by is summer league basketball. I mean, what do you like to watch in the summer sports-wise? Do you watch anything in the summer sports-wise?
Well, I mean, we had the great MVP finals pretty much basically last night, watching Russell Westbrook winning the MVP, which is an obvious choice for everybody that knows basketball out there. And it's really one of those things. They finally made it a nightly event where everybody gets together and all the celebrities get together, and they haven't done that before. So I think it's quite unique that they did that. Something that the NBA should do more often. That this, like we said, the summer months are the driest summer, and for the sports realm besides watching baseball. But I mean, baseball is really a year-round sport if you really think about it. But I just think it's exciting that we had to see that last night, and we got the NBA, obviously, the summer league's coming up, and we didn't even talk about the NBA draft. It just happened last week, and anybody who's been living under a rock, Markelle Fultz is a Sixer, and Lonzo's a Laker, and and then Tatum is a Celtic.
So LeVar Ball basically got what he wished for, with Lonzo Ball going to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I think Lonzo Ball could be pretty good at the NBA level. I mean, he has enough size. He's not a great scorer. He can't really drive all that well. I mean, they're comparing him to Jason Kidd, but I remember Jason Kidd being a much more athletic player than Lonzo Ball, I mean, I know Lonzo can maybe finish in traffic, but, when you look at LeVar Ball, he's really a villain, so a lot of guys are not rooting for Lonzo Ball. You look at this Lakers team next year, Shenko, I mean, they have Julius Randle. They have Larry Nance, who's okay, Brandon Ingram. The thing is, will these guys play defense? They have no veteran leadership. Will they sustain a winning culture? I just don't see them making the playoffs next year because they don't have that veteran to kind of keep them under control, and I think they're going to be pretty crappy on the road. I don't think they're going to be a good road team, the Lakers. So I think the Lakers are a playoff team next year with Lonzo Ball.
I don't think so, because the Lakers are obviously in rebuilding mode. They don't have any really great players. I mean, they have the foundation to be successful in the next 3 to 4 years. It's going to be very difficult for them even to compete, even with the Warriors for the next couple years. The Lakers they're just not a team that has. I mean, they have the talent, like I've said. But I think Magic obviously put all this pressure now on Lonzo. If you heard the Magic-Lonzo press conference the other day, Magic put all this pressure of Lonzo being one of the greatest Lakers of all time, and it's certainly
Did he say that?
Yeah, and he's and he said like, "Oh, I want your jersey up in our rafters," and he's saying all this stuff about Lonzo being this great player.
Well, he said that, but did he literally say like?
Well, the problem is Kobe had a lot of great players surrounded by him when he was at the Lakers. Magic also had Kareem. And Kobe had Shaq, and who the hell does Lonzo have?
Right.
Lonzo doesn't have anybody.
Kobe had Lamar Odom.
In comparison to that,
Kobe had Rick Fox, Derek Fisher, who was a point guard for Pau Gasol. Kobe had pretty good players around him.
That's my point. Yeah, so they need to be able to rebuild and maybe get some veteran leadership in that locker room to be able to mentor these young players. And the same thing goes with the Sixers too. I mean, yes, they have a great big three now with Fultz, Embiid, and Saric, and now they just need another veteran in there potentially to be able to mentor these guys and be a great young course. Going with the Sixers as well, same thing as the Lakers. I just think they're just a team that both teams are in rebuild still, and they're definitely on the way up. So that's something that's good for both franchises.
When you look at Phil Jackson and when you look at Phil Jackson's life, I mean, he went. If he were to not do anything after he retired, he would be considered one of the greatest basketball minds ever. Now he goes to New York, a historically poor franchise. Isaiah Thomas also ran the franchise into the ground.
Sure.
And you look at Phil Jackson, and he just seems to be kind of off his rocker on a lot of different occasions, like signing Derrick Rose, signing Courtney Lee. Like, why are you signing these veterans that are hurt? It's just unbelievable. Maybe just to sell more tickets. He thinks the triangle offense is going to work, even though he's the only guy still using that offense. he just seems annoying and brash. And the thing that annoys me the most about Phil Jackson is the fact that he hasn't moved Carmelo yet. The Knicks are going to have another terrible year if they keep Carmelo, because they're going to have this feuding, triangle between Phil and Melo, and then Kristaps is going to care less. And Melo's the leader of this team, so now, Ron Baker, all these guys just don't give a crap now, when they're playing, because Melo's the leader, and Melo doesn't even like the general manager of the team, and Hornacek is probably just there, and they probably don't really respect or care about Hornacek either. So, I mean, that's why I credit the Chicago Bulls. And a lot of people like yourself think, oh, the Bulls gave Jimmy Butler away for pretty much nothing.
Which they did.
Well, Jimmy Butler was a jerk to Fred Hoiberg last year. He would sit out practices, he would pout and whine, and he wouldn't participate with the team.
Well, I'll tell
so you have to get rid of that cancer to move on, and now Fred Hoiberg gets a new slate, and the Knicks can't get rid of their cancer, Carmelo Anthony. So at least the Bulls got rid of their guy.
All right.
Come on, your Knicks are going to be worse. Your Knicks are in worse shape than the Chicago Bulls.
Okay, yes, I totally understand. Okay, two things. With the New York Knicks, I know that they're probably one of the worst franchises in all of sports. We can all pretty much put that to bed. No one's going to be able to take Carmelo's contract, because that's a New York City contract. Nobody's going to want that $100+ million contract, and paying that luxury tax in New York. That's why that contract's so big. And as we've seen the salary cap rise now for teams now in the NBA, of course Carmelo got that huge contract in New York. It's just it's a multiplier effect there, but it's one of those things that Carmelo has to run his course in his contract. The way he's got 2 years left. And it's just one of those things. The Knicks are going to be in purgatory. I mean, the thing is with this other guy, Frank, this big Frank coming out of...
Who the heck knows his last name? Nivitikova?
I can't pronounce it either, but I think I'm just going to call him Big Frank. So I think Frank is going to be a sleeper, because Kristaps was a sleeper. They all thought he was a project,
that kid
and everybody thought that Kristaps
booted him to the high heavens.
They booted him to the high heavens. They didn't think he was going to be this great player.
Right.
It took a long time for him to develop, and Kristaps actually became, one of the, great, young players in this league. He's a great steal in the draft.
He shit on Jahlil Okafor.
And Okafor was picked before him, so I think that was a much better pick.
Okafor is a bust of all busts.
Yeah, he can't play defense, but that's a topic for another day. But I'm saying that, if you're going to give Kristaps Porzingis, you're going to shun him, and, I think you should give this guy Frank a shot, because you don't know what he's going to... I wish they could have picked Dennis Smith Jr., but out of NC State. But, I'm not an expert, so... It is what it is, but you're not an expert.
You deserve to have an opinion.
And another thing with the Bulls,
very few people.
The thing is, with whole thing with the Jimmy Butler thing and Fred Hoiberg, and I just think when you talk about
the Bulls, talk about the Bulls.
I love how Tom Thibodeau is a great player. That the thing is with Thibodeau, they were more competitive with the Bulls. And, Fred Hoiberg's a guy who this team with Fred Hoiberg is a mediocre team at best. Sometimes they want to play one night, and then some days they'll take off. And what's that a testament to? The coaching, because you have a lot of great players around you. You got Rondo, you got Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, Mirotic, Dougie McDermott, Cameron Payne and those boys. So you have a lot of pretty decent players. Robin Lopez, pretty decent player. You have all this pretty good talent on your team, and you can't do nothing with it. There's inexcusable right there. Look at Thibodeau obviously was could not get that team over the hump, but I just feel like keeping Butler is something that they should have done. I know that he's going to go rebuild a different team. I understand that he had to leave. Excuse me, but I just think you could have got more in return for Jimmy Butler, because you basically gave up the Hershey bar for maybe a couple Hershey Kisses.
I want to interject.
Because I think Jimmy Butler.
I've been waiting patiently. Okay.
But I've been waiting patiently. Terrible trade. My opinion.
Tom Thibodeau had the MVP right in his lap in Derrick Rose, okay? And Derrick Rose was one of the top 5, best players in the world when he was at his heights. Maybe top 3, okay? And when he was at his heights, they made the conference finals with Thibodeau. Then they had Jimmy Butler come along. Last year you had Dwayne Wade, who was old. Miami didn't want to pay him.
He still has veteran leadership, though, and he's still a pretty decent player.
Leadership. If you read the reports, he basically hated Hoiberg. Also, he would sit out practice.
Okay, so he would
he would bitch all year long.
Okay, so
he would complain.
Okay, that's a red flag.
Him and Jimmy Butler would both think that they're cooler and better than the rest of the guys, and they wouldn't buy into this coach, and they wouldn't buy in and give the coach an opportunity. So Dwayne Wade drove a wedge. Then you have Rondo. What did Rondo do with the Mavericks? He sank them. What did he do with the Kings? Sank them. The dude Rondo, where else did Rondo go? He was almost in China, Rajon Rondo. So to say that he's a great player, I mean, he had like maybe 1 or 2 good playoff series. Tom Thibodeau had, Gasol. He had, he had Joakim Noah when he was playing really well. You had Luol Deng, who was playing pretty well. Who did they have? They had Taj Gibson. The Bulls, even Carlos Boozer back in the day.
It's pretty amazing when the Bulls
Thibodeau had defense. The point about Thibodeau is we play in an NBA where, guess what? The Warriors and the Cavs are the best teams in the NBA, and they're run-and-gun offensive teams. And Thibodeau, he can't coach offense. He can't draw up any plays. And you know what Fred Hoiberg can do? His whole life, he's been able to spread the floor and coach players and coach plays. I want to see Fred actually get some guys that respect him, because it's hard to coach guys that just are so turned off by you.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of this whole Fred Hoiberg thing.
I want to give Fred more. Give him more time. Give Fred more time. He hasn't been dealt a fair hand. He hasn't been He hasn't been doing well, but you got to give Fred some more time. Please.
Well, you also need it. Well, I do agree with you partially.
Very passionate on Fred Hoiberg.
The thing is about Fred Hoiberg.
I'm a believer in Hoiberg.
You need players that are going to buy into a system. I completely understand that. And in your defense, in your argument, I feel that with the Bulls last year, and they were in a team of disarray. Everybody was on different players, or different pages.
Right.
Dwayne
Butler,
Wade, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
They didn't
clicks,
and they did not mesh.
Right.
And that was just a bad signing from the start. And
Absolutely, and that goes to the general manager and not the coach. I mean, maybe the coach, if he's dominant, can change that.
But here's the thing:
Fred was too nice with these guys last year.
I mean, could you understand that with the Bulls? I understand dealing Butler, but I feel like they could have gotten way more in return. And they didn't get that much in return for a pretty star caliber Jimmy Butler.
Because the thing about Chris Dunn is Chris Dunn shoots the ball way too freaking high. He shoots the ball like so high. He sucks at shooting, Chris Dunn, which is awful.
I hope he develops his game, and I just hope he does well. But
me too.
I just don't know.
Zach LaVine tore his ACL. Zach LaVine is so inconsistent.
The dunk contest.
Yeah, he's all flash and no substance. And
that's
then Lauri Markkanen, I really hope he turns out great. But he needs a great point guard to be great. He's a spot-up shooter.
They also drafted a project player in the draft too as well. I can't think of his name.
Markkanen from Arizona.
Forward, yes.
Yeah, and do you think Chris Dunn's the point guard of the future?
Well, he has to be if you give away Jimmy Butler to be able to trade for a guy like Chris Dunn. He better be your point guard for the future.
The GM is terrible there.
Horrible.
Jeremy Grant, it was their point guard. Michael Carter-Williams.
Let's talk about the flip side of this trade, though. Boy, did the Timberwolves score big. They got Wiggins now, Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler adding to the mix, Ricky Rubio, got Zhang there.
Yeah, they do.
You're doing pretty dang well up there in Minnesota.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to be a decent contender.
I disagree.
They're going to make the playoffs, I think.
That's a popular sentiment.
For the 8-7 seed, but that's a start for them. I think they're a playoff team next year with Jimmy Butler. No doubt in my mind with all that talent they had last year.
Let's do it. Let's put a gentleman's bet. We're putting a stake bet on this.
Last year, I know Minnesota had a losing record, but they're on the ups and ups. They're winning. Their last 75% of their games last year. They were playing much competitively in a Western Conference where it's a dominant conference.
It's a
where you have
dog league.
Warriors, Spurs, Rockets. You have those very high competitive players out there in the West compared to the East. So
Exactly.
I give them much credit for what Minnesota has done, even without Jimmy Butler. And now you add Jimmy Butler in the mix. So razzle dazzle, I think they got a playoff team, no doubt about it.
Their point guard
no doubt.
I disagree, because their point guard is Ricky Rubio, and he's been spotty his whole career. Whether he's been hurt, he's never been a scorer.
It doesn't matter.
He's
Jimmy
not
Butler
great
can
at
take it up the
penetrating.
court. That's okay.
Okay, so you have Jimmy Butler and Wiggins. They're both not great shooters. They're both ISO guys. They both want the basketball. Jimmy Butler's ego is huge now. Jimmy thinks he's incredible. He's a top 15 player, and he is very good. I'm not saying he's bad,
He's the
but
best
will
player.
he mesh with Andrew Wiggins? Like, you have Towns, Wiggins, you have all these young guys, Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn are gone.
Yeah, but
Wiggins must be pissed off that Jimmy Butler's taking a shot.
So will you put Wiggins at the 2 or the 3?
Wiggins probably hates playing with Thibodeau too, because he's like a dictator out there. So I think this Wolves team is gonna fight. I think they're gonna fight. They're gonna get mad at each other, and it's gonna be, and they're gonna be, biting their teeth all year long.
I think it's gonna be completely different than what
I think the Wolves are gonna be a disaster. Really? Chicago's on a better track. Chicago.
Oh my God! What are you on crack? Hell no.
Wolves.
No. I'd rather have.
We always
the
talk about
roster.
the Timberwolves being great, and they never are great.
Do you have a man crush on Hoiberg? Is this what it is about this Hoiberg and the Bulls?
I think Hoiberg has more potential than Thibodeau. Thibodeau can't call offense.
I think me and the rest of the United States will believe that, and everybody in the world thinks that the Wolves have a better roster than the Bulls.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
What do you guys think out there? Like, comment, subscribe.
What did America think when the Kings traded DeMarcus Cousins for Buddy Hield?
In shock.
And they thought the Kings were idiots, right?
Yeah, I think the same way of the Bulls.
Now, what do you think of the Kings now? After they now had the capital to get De'Aaron Fox, Justin Jackson from North Carolina, Harry Giles, Buddy Hield played tremendously when he got there. And Frank Mason. Guess what, America? America crowns the Kings, the draft winners of the world. Where's the DeMarcus Cousins hate? It just shows you that, I'm telling you, if the Bulls happen to be a disaster, like everyone thought Thibodeau would be great last year. He wasn't great with the Timberwolves, okay? So guess what? People will forget about this whole thing if they don't.
I don't know. I mean, with this whole King situation, you have a lot of great talent, but
I'm really excited to see how this trade pans out, man. I'm worried about Chris Dunn and his shot. I am worried about Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn needs to be the guy, and Jimmy and Andrew need to get along. If they get along, I'll admit I was wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Jimmy and Andrew can get along. What, if they make the playoffs?
No, if they don't make the playoffs. Yeah, if they make the playoffs, you owe me a steak dinner.
They'll probably be a 7th seed.
See, my point. See,
but
come on to the Shenko train.
But do you think that they're going to ever make the conference finals or make noise? You think the Timberwolves are going to be good in 3 years or 4 years?
Absolutely. Why not? They have the pieces together. I think Towns is definitely a second year great tier player.
We have this under record.
Going very well.
Okay.
And Wiggins, another great young player as well. And then you add Jimmy Butler to learn from. I think you got a good big three up there in Minnesota.
Were you disappointed with the NBA draft because there were no trades? Paul George didn't get moved.
Don't worry, he will get moved.
Well, Porzingis, you were happy didn't get moved.
I wish he was moved because how Knicks are terrible. I guess they're terrible because I really felt, because I'm a big Kristaps fan. And the way Phil Jackson is treating this organization, he's running it to the ground. He's signing all these mediocre players like Derrick Rose, who's injury prone, Courtney Lee, a purgatory player, Joakim Noah, who's always hurt, and Corpse. Who's Corpse?
Corpse, dead.
Corpse,
dead weight.
Yes, they are. I mean, they need a lot of help. I mean, it all starts with the owner. I mean, the owner I think he's one of the worst owners in sports, if not the worst. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, that's another segment that we'll talk about.
Why do you want to trade Kristaps though?
I just because I'm a big Kristaps fan, and I don't want to see Kristaps, suffer. in New York because I love
the
his
franchise
his persona.
is so
He's a great
terrible.
player.
You're like, Kristaps, such a great guy. Even
do.
though he plays for my favorite team, I know my favorite team is run by.
Same with Melo. I really do wish that Melo could get a ring before he retires, and I think he needs to go to a team like Cleveland and maybe to be able to compete, be able to win a championship.
Melo had
That's
that
the thing.
choice. Melo had that choice. He signed back with the Knicks, though.
I know,
he
because
had that choice. He wants to be a Knick.
But he believed in Phil Jack's system. I don't think he
Do you
believes
really
in Phil
think
Jack's
so,
system
or do you
anymore.
think that he liked New York, his kids liked New York, and he wanted more money?
Oh, it was a
I don't know
combination
if
of
Melo
both.
wants to win. I don't know.
That's a good question. It's one of those questions.
I don't
age-old
dislike
questions. We'll never know.
Melo either, but Melo, he doesn't make his teammates better. He doesn't pass very well. When the ball gets in his hand, the ball's in his hand.
I'll tell you what. If Cleveland ever signed Melo, and I think Melo should go there. Does that mean it's good for Cleveland? No. I think Cleveland having Melo is one of the worst things that Cleveland can ever do because Melo's a ball hog. He's not a facilitator. LeBron is that guy who can facilitate the ball. Carmelo's more of like a sharpshooter like Carl Porter and Kevin Love.
I would love to see that because
so
I
here's
don't
the
want
problem
to see
because
Cleveland.
Melo's going to want to demand the ball. It's going to ruin the chemistry for Cleveland. I think that's just a bad move. I think they should go out and try to do their best to be able to get Paul George and be able to obtain Kevin Love.
I think Jimmy Butler would have been a bad move too, because he's not like a Melo, but he's a ball hog as well.
I know that Paul George. Let's just be real. Paul George doesn't want to go to Cleveland.
Think so?
He wants to go to LA. There's no doubt in my mind. He wants to play. He's even talking with Klay Thompson recently to be able to, play together. They're even talking about it.
Not in Golden State.
Not in Golden State. In another team, an unspecified
Klay
team.
Thompson is talking to Paul.
Yes, to be able to play together someday in the NBA.
So Klay Thompson is not happy in Golden State.
I don't know.
The fact
that they're already talking about it, that's something to.
If I were Klay Thompson, you gotta ride this out for like another 5 years.
Yeah, get a couple rings under your belt.
Get a couple rings because he's part of the original core.
Sure.
He'll never get flack for staying in Golden State like Durant will.
This is just another food for thought. I'm actually excited for all the players to retire in Cleveland or the Warriors because then you're going to have maybe a more competitive NBA because hopefully other teams that could win the championship like the Jazz or the Wolves or maybe
the
a team
Sixers.
like the Sixers
or
the Knicks, hopefully someday. The Lakers
again.
Well, the
thing is, though, the Warriors are young.
Different teams.
Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are young.
The Thunder need.
I want to see more parity.
Chips.
I want to see more. I want to see better players.
I do.
Like each team only has like 2 good players. Why can't a team be complete?
Everybody wants to have a super
And you know why that is, Shenko, is because the refs, they don't let you play defense anymore. Every little touch is a foul. So you can't guard Golden State. If you're allowed to rough them up like you did in the early 2000s, you would have something,
Yes.
I wanted to... Do you have your phone with you? Let's see if YouTube is asking us any questions.
Sure.
And I want to bring up our final topic of the day, because I know we went on a little bit talking about the NBA draft. I want to talk about the Vince Young article, if I may.
Oh, go ahead. What's the topic there?
Vince Young.
Okay.
He called Ryan Fitzpatrick effing garbage today in an article. He said Jeff Fisher treated him like shit, crap, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I'll just say this about Vince Young. Like, Vince Young's insulting Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I'm not a big Ryan Fitzpatrick fan either. But how come nobody is going to sign you to the NFL? And I have a couple of theories. One, Vince Young is not a good thrower, okay? Vince Young's never been able to throw the ball deep down the field. He was good at college, okay? He was never able to throw it down the field. Two, Vince Young comes off kind of like whining, jealous of Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick's a Harvard grad. He's more stable than Vince Young. Vince Young had
Don't tell me you're on Ryan Fitzpatrick's side.
I mean, what do you mean on his side? I don't think he's good.
Yeah, do you?
But do you think it's Do you think it's a good look that Vince Young's calling Fitzy out, or do you think Vince Young's jealous of Fitz?
Well, I think
I'll put it this way.
I think it goes both ways.
I like Vince Young more than Fitz. Vince Young's more fun to watch. Vince Young is a great personality. He gives us things to talk about.
Well,
he's a wonderful, more interesting than Fitzpatrick. But teams don't want interesting. They don't want troublemakers off the field.
Well, unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you want to get Michael Vick.
Right.
That's and they want to sign all these rejects.
Yeah, but he's not going to dogfight anymore. But
Well,
ahead. What do you
yeah,
think?
but Michael Vick is in a better place, which is great.
Yeah, he is. Now.
Absolutely. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, the thing about Vincey is Vincey would just go out and spend money crazy.
Well,
and
here's
not
the
be
thing.
Focused, but yeah.
I could go both ways for this Vince Young because Vince Young, number one, he had his opportunity in the NBA or in the NFL, excuse me. He stunk up the joint. He went to the Titans, and I thought he was a bust, and he was too erratic with the ball. He could not focus in the pocket. He was very.
He doesn't have a strong arm.
He didn't have a strong arm.
Frail.
Yes, very frail. He got injured too much as well. Same thing with Leinart, and I thought those two were going to be great quarterbacks in the NFL.
Too. I thought Leinart.
That was a shame, but at any rate,
Leinart had maturity issues. His arm strength was also weak. And who was the coach in Arizona at that time? Well, the thing is, Vince Young in this article, he blamed Jeff Fisher for his development because Fisher never wanted Vince Young. The owner of the Titans, Bud something, wanted him. But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, no, I was just going to say that, Vince Young had his opportunities. Fitzpatrick, worked really hard. He might stink. But, he worked really hard to be able to get that backup spot or the, starting position, for certain teams because no other teams have any starting quarterbacks to speak of because there's not a lot of talent at the quarterback level in the NFL if you really do think about it outside of the top tier NFL quarterbacks. The Browns don't have anybody who's going to be at the helm for them.
Let's list the talent.
Outside of the Browns and the Texans had,
That's because the NFL. That's because the NFL defenses are great. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of quarterbacks Ryan Mallett. I still believe could have been a great quarterback, but he just doesn't have the mental capability to be great.
Same with your boy Hackenberg,
Christian,
and your other guy from Baylor.
Oh, Petty. I like Petty, though.
You still like Petty.
I like
He's
Petty.
Garbage. They're all garbage.
It's
like the rest of the Jets quarterbacks.
How are you calling them garbage? They haven't even been given a chance.
Yeah, chance of preseason.
Give him a chance. Give him a chance. Petty. I'm confident in Petty.
Petty looks like a deer in the headlights. Same with Hackenberg. He can't even learn the playbook.
Petty doesn't.
He's a second-round pick. He should have learned the playbook by now.
It's not his fault he's a second-round pick. The Jets were dumb enough to take him there.
Same with Goff. Come on, get some playing time. Jeez.
Jared, first of all, I think Petty's better than all those guys, okay? I think Petty can work hard. Put it this way, you have Todd Bowles as your head coach, and who was the offensive coordinator last year?
I think Petty is horrible.
I don't think Petty's terrible at all. He has one of the strongest arms, big hands. He has everything you look for.
Who would you rather have?
He's fast.
All right, would you rather have Petty or Fitzpatrick?
Oh, Petty 1,000%. Okay.
They're both
Fitz is
horrible.
Petty at least has a chance to be good. Fitzy can't throw.
I think give them running backs.
Fitz is awful.
But
Fitzpatrick's awful. The only reason he's in the NFL is because he's smart.
I think Petty is horrible too.
No, he's not.
He's got no stats to prove
but
of
he's had no chance. But he also has never had a head coach. No, Petty's never had a head coach.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing.
He's never had a head coach.
Horrible.
He's never had a head coach. Dude, he has one of the best arms in the NFL. Dude, if Bryce Petty had Sean McVay in Washington, you really think Kirk Cousins is better than Bryce Petty? Kirk Cousins is so limited.
I still would take Kirk Cousins over him.
Dude,
Kirk Cousins at least has some pretty decent stats in the NFL.
But also
Petty has nothing.
But Petty also Brandon Marshall was such a dark cloud over the organization. You saw Sheldon Richardson say they almost got in a fight. You have Matt Forte, who's old, another corpse that we talked about. Woody Johnson, who's the general manager there? It's Mike McCagnon or something.
Yes.
Yeah, they had Tannenbaum. The Jets are a disaster.
They have, and they always will be.
Drafting Hackenberg in the second round is hilarious, isn't it?
You still think Geno? That's right. Geno left. That's right.
Well, Geno can't move.
He went to the G mode.
Mm-hmm. How about Davis Webb? Have you been reading about him lately?
He's a great player.
He's doing great.
He's learning the playbook. He's the future,
He's not
man.
going on vacation. I told you that's the one I'm going to be right about is Davis Webb.
You were. We'll see. The time will only tell. Eli's still got a couple years left. We'll see.
Are you excited for next year's quarterback class? I know Sam Darnold had he had a great game.
I love Sam Darnold.
He had one game.
He is
one
going.
game, okay?
I've never seen.
Does he have a strong arm?
Quiet.
Does he have a strong
I'll take Sam Darnold over your boy Prez Petty any day of the week.
People will.
You've seen, everybody that knows Sam Darnold, from USC, he's a quarterback that I think he's got accuracy so well. He doesn't even have to plant his feet, and he can hit a pinpoint pass like on a dot. He can hit that red dot in a dart game. That's how accurate Sam Darnold is, and
does he have a strong arm?
He's got a strong arm. He can heave it 40 yards down the field and even hit that red dot. I just love this kid. He played well in the Rose Bowl game against Penn State.
His throwing motion's a little weird, okay?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks who have weird throwing motions.
Is he going to win the Is he going to win the Heisman? Is he going to tear it up this year, Sam Darnold? Then
I mean, he's going to do well in the Pac-12. With all that great talent that they have in the Pac-12, especially Washington, going to come back strong. And,
I like Josh.
Stanford.
I like Josh Allen.
You do?
Yeah, and then do you know Josh Rosen at UCLA?
Oh yeah, that's right. He's gonna be pretty good too. I'm excited to see what
Sam Darnold is being so highly touted. I just don't like his arm.
Jim Mora, right?
I mean, I like Darnold up here mentally. I can't wait to watch him this year.
Darnold. Jim Mora.
I love college.
Jim Mora is a coach, right? For USC, if I'm not mistaken.
For UCLA.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna do great.
It's not that good.
Team.
Yeah, but Jim Mora hasn't been doing that well at UCLA.
Well, I mean, it's so hard to be able to, get guys. Would you rather go to USC or UCLA?
I know, but
they're big rivals. I'd rather go to USC, baby.
To play football.
Oh yeah, it's
UCLA. It's a better campus.
Yeah, they're about 20 minutes apart. I'm sure
One's
each
in a
student goes each school.
USC is not a great area. I mean, it's an okay area, but
what? What would you rather be here, or you rather be in USC? Please, I'd rather be out there.
Please. I mean, USC does have amazing talent, like OJ, Reggie Bush, all the, they do have legends. Lendell White.
Great player. Reggie Bush,
Matt
Jarrett.
Who's a great receiver?
Yeah, Dwayne Jarrett. That's right, wide receiver. He's with Carolina still, right? Or he's not with them anymore?
I'm not sure. He didn't pan out. Carson Palmer,
Palmer. If you think about it, all the USC, I think, if you think about it, all the USC quarterbacks have been trashed in the past couple weeks. Matt Castle, Sanchez.
I mean, Carson
Palmer.
Palmer's good.
He's okay. I think he's definitely on his downside of his career.
But Palmer was great not great. He was very good with the Bengals. He's upper echelon though for sure.
But that's even I wouldn't call him Hall of Fame.
Successful career though, not a bust. Successful.
That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
You're right. No playoff wins.
I think Sam Darnold's going to break that spell. I think he's going. He's going to have multiple Super Bowls. He's going to be able to lead this team to the promised land.
Are you taking Luck or Darnold?
Oh, right now, that's tough.
For the future, for 10 years.
That's so tough because
I'm taking Luck, man. I still love Luck.
I mean, the thing is, I'll say this about Luck. Luck is a player who, the Colts have no offensive line, and that's a testament to how bad the Colts front staff is able to protect Andrew Luck.
Gregson was
I don't know how Andrew Luck is going to be able to stay upright for the next couple of years, even he's going to last in the NFL for so long.
Right. So we drafted Jack Mahort.
It's going to be tough.
Let's list our offensive line: Ryan Kelly, Mahort. I mean, I'm searching. My off-season job's to learn all the offensive lines.
Sure.
It's not easy.
I'm sure.
It's tedious work. All right, guys. I think that we did a very appropriate show for what we had to work with. I really appreciated you guys joining us. I mean, if you guys want to like our show, it's Shenk and Spence on Facebook. You can also go to Rover Sports on Facebook. We'll hopefully be in studio in the next couple of weeks. We're going to come up with more show topics. You guys are great. We're going to have a cell phone line coming up very soon. And listen, we appreciate you guys hanging with. We hope it came through pretty good. And thanks so much, guys, for joining us here. Can't wait to talk football more. Giants and Eagles smack talk coming up soon. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Shank out.
Shank out. That's great. Hold on, let's see. I want us to get to 34 on the dot.